New Radio Sports Network and 105.1 The Go. Tim Coles with Head Coach Mike Peck after a thrilling win for Gibraltar here this evening. And Coach, first of all, you had the chance to kind of celebrate with the guys afterwards. What was the message that you had for the team after this one?
We actually talked a lot about, we're kind of watching what's going on. We set our goal from the beginning of the year. We talked about is win a conference title, and there aren't a lot of teams that have been not mentioning our name at all out there. And there's other teams that are watching our conference, and I believe we're the defending title holders. So I think we should have a little more respect. And our kids, they're taking it 1 week at a time and trying to get what they deserve to be theirs, rightfully so. And so we talked about that was the first step. Second step we talked about was homecoming week. We all know that homecoming week's crazy. There's lots of stuff going on, bonfire, grade level games, all kinds of stuff that the kids love to do, but it also takes away from some of our practice time. So by far our biggest game of the year and homecoming week is awesome, but there's also, we got to do a little bit of work, for at least 2 hours a night before we can go have fun.
You've been able to kind of play the disrespect card all season long, and to be honest with you, you bring up a point. Defending champs, we discussed this last week. It's kind of hard to believe, and do you think that with each one of these weeks you're making that argument at least a little bit harder? But obviously the final exam will be next week when you play Lena St. Thomas Aquinas, which is above you right now in those standings.
Yeah, we've talked about it. It's nice to have that card to play, but I think you're seeing our kids, like we talked about at the beginning of the year, we knew we were an older age team, but we were inexperienced, and you can see even tonight, there's one play where we had a holding call, but we went back and looked at it on film, and two of our kids pancaked their kids. Like, that's what we're talking about. We're starting to come together where they're seeing how the offense is supposed to work together and all the parts are working together, and that was hard to see for some of our kids at the beginning of the year. Just haven't been out there seeing kids move at a much faster speed than they're used to in our JV scrimmages and some of the other things that they've already had experience in.
Since the game is over, was that a broken field goal play, or is that just another Houdini act, maybe drawn up by Tom Sawyer on that field goal attempt that wasn't a field goal attempt, and somehow for a second straight week you kind of have to wonder how Braden City was able to find the end zone?
That was 100% a broken play. He was supposed to kick the field goal. After he kicking the 43-yarder, we just, we have ultimate confidence, and we want to put some points on the board. We're trying to get, the ideal goal once we saw where we were at was we wanted points before half, and then we wanted to start with points in the second half, just kind of to break their morale and hope that we could get a big enough lead to get that running clock. We tried to get out of here quickly as possible, no injuries, and I think we've been pretty successful. I think we just had one kid talk to the trainer after the game, so for us that's a good week. We'll go home, ice, rest, and we'll get ready for homecoming.
And how important has it been to you? Because I know, to be honest with you, I told you this, when you only had 13 guys, I was worried just about health, especially since the last time we saw you guys was health. That kind of ended the season against the same Titans team. You got to be praying every night, thanking your lucky stars that the health on this team has been spectacular.
Well, we kind of talked about it. We got a new trainer this year, but Bill, who's been our longtime trainer at Gibraltar, said that point blank our football season last year is probably the worst orthopedic season he's ever seen as far as any sports season, and so we kind of we were hoping that the stars were aligned for us. We had a bad year last year with some injuries, and getting the 13 kids, we knew we were going to have to get a little lucky, but that's, I said, trying to get that running clock and get our kids in there. We had every plan to put our JV offense in, but then they spent 9 minutes driving down the field, which we were content with. Listen, you guys want to throw it 4 yards, we'll tackle you, we'll let the clock run and get out of here.
All right, Coach. Well, you got a long drive back home, and you got a big game to plan for as well, and I'm sure you're ready to dress. Well, you are a teacher. You think any of your teams go dress up like you?
I'll know on Monday or Tuesday when they ask if they can borrow some of my clothes. So I'll let you know next week when I talk to you, Tim.
Head Coach Mike Peck as we wrap things up.